What's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today we're going to be talking about if the Los Angeles Chargers should fire head coach Brandon Staley. Is Brandon Staley, head coach for the Chargers, on the hot seat? I wouldn't say it's necessarily time to, pack your bags and hit the road, but I would definitely say Brandon Staley's seat is definitely starting to get hot after an 0-2 start. But at the same time, their first two games have been, close games. I will say I don't think they should have ever lost to the Titans. And I will say you're without Austin Eckler. But in the NFL, no excuses, next man up mentality. That's what you have to always play like, even though when you're without your best player. Week one, I feel like you can't make the excuse. You're playing a great offense, the Miami Dolphins. You did blow a lead, though, so that has been a problem with the Chargers. Close games against, sometimes good, most of the times good teams, but sometimes bad teams as well. Close games that they lose and blowing leads, especially in the playoffs last year when they blew, I believe it was a 27-point lead. I believe they were up 27-0 against the Jags in the wild card. And the Jaguars still managed to win that ball game in the wild card round. But I believe that Brandon Staley, with the way they've started off this season with losing to the Titans in overtime 27-24, losing to the Dolphins 36-34. I believe that was the final score. No, that wasn't the final score. It was the final score. I think they ended up losing by 3 points, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they won by. I believe the final score was 36-34. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the final score was 36-34. I'm not sure though. But after starting on 0-2, I get it. One loss was against a very good team with very good offense, but you did blow a lead. You did blow a lead again here against Tennessee. You were up 11-0, and that's not a huge lead, but that is a double-digit lead. You're up 11-0. Titans came back. I don't think that's a huge deal. I think the fact is you lost to a team that you're clearly better than. Even without Austin Eckler, your best player, you're still better than the Tennessee Titans, and you lost to them. I get it was a road game. I get you're without your best player. You still lost to them. You had an 11-point lead. You should have never lost that game to the Tennessee Titans. You lost in overtime. You're now 0-2, and now you're going to Minnesota. This is going to be a hard game for the Chargers this week. This is a road game for the Chargers, and you're playing a very solid team in Minnesota. They're 0-2, and turnovers have beat them this year to start off the year. And with potentially being without Austin Eckler, that might hurt you. And the Vikings are dealing with the same stuff they're dealing with as well. I don't know about they're not dealing with a lot as much as pressure as the Chargers are, because the Chargers are expected to be better than them. But at the same time, the Vikings, they should have not lost to the Buccaneers. Honestly, the Eagles, that matchup Thursday Night Football, that is a game that it's not upsetting if they lose because they're playing the Eagles, but they should have won that game with the way they played. They lost by 6. They made clear mistakes in that ball game. I believe, as of right now, the Vikings should be 2-0. So this game is a home game for the Vikings. They're playing with the same mentality as the Chargers are. These are two 0-2 teams, and whenever you have a matchup between two 0-2 teams, you're going to get a hard, gutsy game from both squads. And with the Vikings playing at home, with the Chargers defense having to deal with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, and K.J. Osborne, and the weapons Kirk Cousins has to throw to, I think this could be a very hard matchup for the Los Angeles Chargers to deal with. And I kind of do believe that the Vikings are going to get their first win of the season and beat the Los Angeles Chargers, and especially if Austin Eckler is not there to play for the Los Angeles Chargers. So if Staley's already on the hot seat right now, and you start off 0-3, is it time to fire Brandon Staley? I don't think so. But then I think that next matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders, I think if you start off 0-4, which I don't, if that happens, you definitely need to fire him. But if you start out 0-4, then Brandon Staley needs to be gone. I could see the Chargers winning this Sunday against the Vikings, but in Minnesota, and with the Vikings starting off 0-2 with two games they should have definitely one. They're going to go out there trying to play hard. The Chargers played 2 games as well that they probably should have won as well. I wouldn't say for sure that I think the Dolphins played pretty good. I don't know if the Chargers really deserve to win that game. But what I will say is that the Chargers played a good game week 1, but the Dolphins played better. They deserve to be the Chargers. If they played the right football, they would be 1-1 right now. And if the Vikings, if mistakes and turnovers didn't kill them, they'd be 2-0 in this matchup. And I think with the Vikings being 0-2 with 2 losses that they should have won, and the Chargers being 0-2 in their head, their mind might be playing games with their head right now, and especially with being on the road and the last 2 games blowing 2 leads, and then prior to that with the playoff matchup losing 27-0, and then on top of all of that, you're without your best player at running back with Austin Eckler. Justin Herbert is going to have to pull off a magic game for the Los Angeles Chargers to win this game, in my opinion, on Sunday against the Vikings. The Vikings are at home. Without Austin Eckler, I do believe the Vikings have a better offense with Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Obviously, the Chargers have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Quentin Johnson, great wide receiver core, but the Vikings have the best wide receiver in the NFL by far in Justin Jefferson. Well, him and Tyreek Hill are the best wide receivers in the NFL, but you could definitely argue that Justin Jefferson is the best in the NFL. And then alongside that, they have a rookie in Jordan Addison who's been outstanding in his first 2 games, has 2 touchdowns. I believe he has 150-something receiving yards in his first 2 games. And then they also have KJ Osborne, another solid wide receiver, and TJ Hawkinson, who had 2 touchdowns in the Philadelphia Thursday Night Football game, is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Probably top 5 tight end in the NFL, if not that, top 6, top 7 tight end in the NFL. And then a solid running back who started off kind of terrible in Alexander Madison, but I think this is a game for him to potentially, finally get his first good game as the starting running back for the Vikings. I don't see the Vikings losing this game. That's just my opinion, though, especially if the Chargers are without Austin Eckler. So I think if the Chargers start out 0-3 after that playoff loss against the Jags last year, I think that as of right now, Brandon Staley's seat is just starting to begin to get hot. But if they lose to the Vikings and start off 0-3, even though Austin Eckler's out and would be out for the last 2 games, losing to the Titans and the Vikings, if they lose that game, I still think that Staley's seat would probably start to be steaming. And then I think his job would be on the Raiders game. I think not only if the Vikings lose week 3, I think Staley still has a job going into week 4 against the Raiders. But I think in that Raiders game week 4, if the Vikings, if you see the Chargers start off 0-3 to the season, that game will be, Staley's job will be on the line, and that will be a game where if the Chargers win, maybe he keeps his job, and if they don't, then he's probably out the door. I don't see the Chargers winning week 3 against the Vikings in Minnesota if Austin Eckler is out. If Austin Eckler plays, I could see the Chargers winning and get their first win of the season. But I think it's just going to depend on what type of Justin Herbert we see. I want the Chargers to win, to be honest. I have Justin Herbert in free agent in fantasy football, so I always want them to succeed with their quarterback being my fantasy quarterback. But I just don't know if I see them winning the game. That's not me saying Justin Herbert's not going to have a good game, because without Austin Eckler, I think Justin Herbert will have a really good game. I just think it just depends what type of Chargers team we're going to see on Sunday, especially if Austin Eckler is going to be out. Let me know your thoughts on the Chargers start to the season as they're 0-2 and about Brandon Staley, and do you think it's time for the Chargers to let go of Brandon Staley? And I wonder who would be the head coach. Who would be the interim head coach if Brandon Staley? Would that be Kellen Moore if Staley gets fired? I wonder if it would be, but we'll see what happens. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.